Well, consumers are preparing for a 24-hour economic blackout on Friday, one of several boycotts planned by groups of consumers or activists to protest what they call corporate greed. Companies that have rolled back their diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, and President Donald Trump's effort to eliminate federal DEI programs since taking office. Now, joining us live to tell us a little bit more about this economic blackout is Dr. Irma McClaurin, DEI and community engagement expert. Dr. Irma, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I am happy to have you. So tell us about this. It seems like this all originally started from a New York activist, John Schwartz, who called for this 24-hour economic blackout. Tell us a little bit about the reasoning.
Well, I think people are tired of the slash and burn approach that has been taken to many of the cutbacks, and particularly around diversity and inclusion and equity. And I think they're disappointed that companies like Target and Walmart and other companies have decided to roll back what they claim was a huge commitment. And Target in particular, which is where George Floyd is from Minneapolis, which is where George Floyd was, and they had done amazing things, and now they're rolling back. And I think people are seeing what I would call a Borg mentality among policymakers. They're just going along with the program. So consumers believe that you hurt people where they will feel it the most, and that's in the pockets of corporations and businesses.
So, Dr. Irma, what exactly does this mean? Economic blackout. So, does that mean we're not supporting the businesses, the companies that have rolled back on those DEI programs, those DEI efforts, or is this across the board? We're not buying anything.
I think they are targeting particular companies that have made it clear that they are rolling back on what they want to do. And so Costco is a company that people can support. So people are saying if you need things, then go to Costco or support local smaller businesses that actually we need in our communities, in some communities, in order to survive.
And when we think about boycotts that have happened in the past, I mean, have we ever seen anything like this that folks are planning on the
Well,
28th?
we do know that conservative have actually boycotted companies around DEI policies in order to get them to change or to downsize those. But also, if we go back maybe 2 or 3 decades to the Nestle Infact, where companies that produce baby milk were encouraging mothers to stop breastfeeding in developing countries. And there was a huge boycott against Nestle and many of its subsidiaries, and it was very successful. There are restaurants like the Rusty Scupper, that was a Nestle business, went out of business because of that. So I think this is a moment in which people are realizing that regardless of who you voted for, the kinds of things that are happening, which seem to be done without thought and without really understanding what the implications are for everyone, not just the people who voted for the current government, but everyone, what the implications are, which is all of us will be impacted by this. This is not something that just affects people of color, it affects everybody, because diversity was not just about people of color. It was about people with with disabilities. It was about people who had mental health issues, but who were still able to work with some support. And so it's about ageism. It cuts across all kinds of sectors. And I think people are saying, citizens are saying enough. This sort of Machiavellian approach of let's just cut everything and see what happens is not a proper way to proceed. There's no thought given. There is no strategy. There's just cut and then let's see it's like throwing spaghetti against the wall to see what will stick.
And how do you think that this is in the long term, when we look at the bigger picture of things, right? How do you think that this is going to impact not only consumer spending, maybe, but what these companies are doing?
Well, people are terrified, and what they're saying is that companies cannot use their profits and be concerned about profits over the consumers who are the ones who support them. So they're asking them to actually reinstate some of these policies and things. And the way to show that we're serious about it is to actually do this economic blackout. And I think what's interesting is that I posted it for a few minutes and within an hour or so had over 1,600 views. People are very serious about this. They want a way in which they can feel that they have agency in what is going on to make their voices heard. Because right now it feels as if we're in an authoritarian society where you can't say anything, you can't use certain words, and this is the beginning of fascism.
Dr. Irma, thank you so much for joining us here today on Fox 2 Detroit Live. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. All right, well, let's get into our weather here with the